Welcome to Totally Blitz Podcast. We finna break down UFC Fight Night Fiziev versus Gamrot and all the shit that circles it. As always, go down, like, and subscribe. Let us know what your thought is of the TKO, foot injury, all that down below. And if you're a Bryce Mitchell lover, please let us know down below. We pray with you, brother. As always, this is Paul Pickle Winham Concha, and I'm joined with.
You already know, man. It's your boy Kev Waterboy, your boy. And I got the Oreos on deck today. You feel me, man? We eating good out this bitch. Well, Paul, I've been trying to tell you this. I don't mind telling you again. Bryce Mitchell is an American hero. He's really what Kobe Covington thinks he is.
But you can put him in there with Volkanovski right now, and Bryce Mitchell's the one walking out.
He might be half dead, but he'll walk out on his own 2 feet.
With me saluting.
I'm telling you, there's a different tier. There's just a different tier of Americans. There's just a tier of two Americans by themselves. It's Sean Strickland, Bryce Mitchell, American heroes. America.
Built for tough.
Not built for tough. America. Wrangler jeans.
But
Wrangler jeans. America.
Bryce Mitchell wasn't the only baller on the card too. I mean, we'll get into the Bryce Mitchell, but there's a lot of finishes. So I would guess there's a lot of ballers on this card. It was hard.
This shit was crazy.
It's hard to pick the finish of the night due to how good of all the finishes were.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not for that person. Whoever has to decide those bonuses.
Unfortunately, the heavyweight GOAT himself, Muhammad Usman, wasn't one of the finishes. He got the decision win. But, I mean, like I said, when you're fighting Jake Collier, always pick against him, and you'll sleep well knowing that at least you ain't lose money picking him.
No.
Did you get to watch this fight? Because I know I didn't really watch it, but I just know my boy got the dub. I saw they were banging though. They was banging. It wasn't no little riff-raff bullshit.
What was I doing there in this card? I think I didn't tune in until about the main card. I forgot. I had to do something that night, and then that was the reason why I was asleep during the day type shit.
You missed my boy Tim Means, old Tim Means getting the KO, bro. Like it wasn't no fluky KO. Like first round he rocked Fiallo, but then the second round Fiallo had had a better round altogether in the second round. It was still close because Tim Means, like first half of the round, Fiallo is working him, hitting his shots, securing a takedown. And then all of a sudden, Tim Means gets back up, and he kind of hits him with a shot that hurts him again. Didn't put him down or anything, but hurt. You could tell it put some damage on him, and you're looking there like, oh shit, like Tim Means is cracking shit this fight. Then in the third round is when third round is when Tim Means finished the fight. Altogether, Tim Means got 3 fucking knockdowns throughout this fight. Like he was looking as crisp as ever on the feet.
I heard he got the finish, but I didn't know he was killing shit like that all fight.
Oh, 2 knockdowns. There was the one that hurt him was the one that almost could have been a third one when he almost dropped him in the second round.
39 years old, fucking shit up.
It wasn't even close. He came in as a big underdog too. Like Fiallo was minus 250, I think. So like, and then by like halfway through the first round, like odds flipped. Like Tim Means was the favorite.
Imagine being just a random Tim Means fan and you bet on that. Came back with like a band.
We've been living nice, knowing that Tim Means is like that.
All right,
and then we'll get into the main card. Charles Jourdain getting the submission over Ricardo Ramos, and like Jourdain's looked good on the feet for the limited time it was. Ramos couldn't even land a shot. Then Ramos kind of has to like panic wrestle because shit ain't working. He does get the takedown. But then he started trying to roll with Jourdain, and like immediately into like him getting the takedown, Jourdain was like shooting submission attempts, like reversals off the back, and I was sitting there like, you might want to like Ramos, like I don't know what's going on, but like Jourdain is over here cooking up something. Like this, you better be careful, homie, because I had him on verdict, but all of a sudden, next thing you know, Jourdain ends up getting I think the guillotine submission, gets the sub.
It's guillotine season. I was happy to wait for this one. This one I was starting to wake up and shit. But Charles Jourdain fucked him up in a sense.
There was nothing Ramos could. He wasn't doing shit on the feet, and then he shot one takedown, got it, almost got reversed into a submission, and then shot another takedown, which led to the guillotine.
Yeah. So what's next for my dog, Ed Jourdain?
He's just one of them like filibusters. Like it's like Tim Means, him, um, Brian Barberena. Like there's just guys who are like probably aren't gonna be a title guy ever, but like they just love to fight. And like he said it
Yeah.
his like he didn't say it himself, but he was referring to the Canada media, and Canada media always, if you're a UFC or MMA fighter coming out of Canada, you're just automatically compared by the media to George St. Pierre. And he's like, you'll have a win, you win the fight, and they're like, oh, he looked good, but he's no George St. Pierre. And it's like, of course not. Nobody's the next George St. Pierre. Like fucking like don't like if you don't have to compare, and that's why there isn't a big market for Canada fighters because he says the media just holds them all to this impossible standard. So like, but I think he knows who he is as like I bring good fights, and I don't think he's going anywhere anytime soon. Like he's just gonna. I think Dana White probably pays him a pretty good amount now because he consistently puts on good fights.
Consistent main Carters, and he has a raw nickname.
Raw nickname, but unlike Ken, this next guy, he's still young, so anything can happen. But Brian Battle gets a submission win over AJ Fletcher's and got the rear naked choke, was hurting him on the feet. AJ, it just looked like these guys didn't belong in the cage together. Like Brian Battle was just in his bag this whole fight, and like coming off the Gabe Green KO in Charlotte in front of the home crowd, and he's definitely making up for his loss before. He lost to fucking what's the guy's name? Rocket Fekhaninov, like one of them Russian killers. So like older, he's an older Russian guy too. But like other than that one stumble in the UFC, he's pretty great. He might be the next. He coming off a tough, I believe, right? So like he might be the next like tough guy that could make some noise.
Facts. Short-haired Brian Battle is a problem. I thought he was cool with the long hair, killing people, doing what he does. But his short-haired Brian Battle, 14 seconds, killed the last dude, got the sub here, and never looked like he was just in trouble this fight. Not even a little bit. So, yeah, we rock with short-haired Brian Battle till the wheels fall off.
Yeah, well, 11-2, and like I said, his one loss in the UFC is that unanimous decision loss. But like, even then, it wasn't like a bad showing. He just didn't look good. So I kind of like this new. Like he's young blood at the welterweight division, so I like it.
Yeah.
Then we get into honestly, I had no worry about this fight. Like there was nothing at all. Like the odds are -2 something for a reason. Marina Rodriguez KO win over karate hottie Michelle Waterson. Like it could have got stopped in the first round. That's how bad it was. And it went on to the second round. She took a fucking beating and eventually it gets stopped. Thankfully, the ref steps in.
I mean, this fight, the entire time I was watching this fight, I was in this bitch thinking, oh, Paul's enjoying this. Paul is liking this right now. Paul is loving every second of this shit.
No, I definitely.
Yeah, so the whole entire time I'm just watching. Yeah, I was in this bitch watching this shit like, oh, Paul about to talk shit. But it was once they got the elbow and she started bleeding like a motherfucker. Well, was that this fight, but it was just a shit ton of blood, or was that the next fight?
Oh yeah, no. Michelle Waterson was bleeding bad in the first round.
Yeah, I killed her. Once she had her leaking all over the place, it was just like, oh, Shout out Watterson for getting that takedown. She did get a takedown to prolong the fight and shit like that. But
I was a I have to save my life takedown.
hey, and she saved her fucking life with that bitch because you know she had there was one of those if I needed to get it anytime, it was right now. But who is this killer that beat the fuck out of the karate hottie? And what the fuck does she got going on next?
So she beat Karate Hottie back in like 2021, I think, or 2020. So I was kind of shocked. It was an unanimous decision, and I was kind of shocked they ran it back. She's coming off of 2 losses to Amanda Lemos and Jordan Roba, but before that she beat Mackenzie Dern and Jan Zanian. So like those are 2 hitters at the weight class. So I don't know what she had 2 bad losses to Lemos and John Aruba, but like if she fights like this every fight and the fight she had with Dern and Zahn, she has the potential. Like it's all there.
Yeah, definitely, man. That's just scary.
Not only is all, but like that's what makes it hard to place her in this division. Is because she has those wins over some people already and a win over Amanda Ribas and shit. So it's who do you fight? Like we don't want to see you rematch all the people you already fought already. So like it's like how do we place her? Like who are we gonna place her up against next?
I don't know, but she looks like she could take a lot of people's heads off. So she might just have to catch fire and go on the winning streak.
Yeah. But then our next fight at featherweight co-main event, Bryce Mitchell, the American hero, beats Dan Ige unanimous decision. I was kind of shocked it was a unanimous decision because I feel like early in the fight, Ige was landing some big shots, like some haymakers that were hurting Mitchell. I think even cut him open. But Mitchell just could cardio, pace, wrestling as a motherfucker, just kept it up all fight.
Yeah, I think it was the right decision. It was definitely think Ige won the first round though. A lot of people are screaming Ige won the first round. So I would have gave Ige the first round, but what's it called? The fact that Bryce Mitchell won this fight definitely is facts. And he did it the best way possible. He just stayed active, proactive, didn't put himself into too much danger, didn't look like too crazy rusty, and he had the cardio to go all 3 rounds. So I don't know. How'd you feel about Bryce's performance?
I I mean, it looks like to me like yeah, I think he won an unanimous decision. All that wrestling, second and third round definitely his. I think Ige won the first, but I think this is starting to show like maybe his win over Edson Barbosa on the feet, like when he was beating Barbosa on the feet, was kind of more fluky. Maybe Barbosa was really worried about the wrestling stuff, which opened up the shots that he was able to land. Because this is back-to-back fights where Bryce Mitchell looked like he had nothing. There was nothing on the feet he could do. Like all he had was the wrestling. Like Illa Topuria absolutely dominated him on the feet. This fight, Dan Ige, if it was a stand and bang fight, Dan Ige was good. It was about to be a KO bloodbath, in my opinion. But Bryce Mitchell's one wrestling ass motherfucker, and all the Arkansas training he does works for him. But if he ever wants to take that next jump into like real deal title contendership status, you have to work on the stand up. You have to at least be able to look like you belong in the UFC on your feet. Like you don't have to be the best striker, but you have to at least belong on your feet at some points. So that like I think he's still like I think he has the mold to be great, and I love myself some Bryce Mitchell, but I really want him to be like a one day fighting for the belt. And if that's the case, you have to work on your stand up because that wrestling stuff only get you so far before you start fighting the guys who can wrestle or have BJJ at a high level or are just stronger than you at a certain point. Like you can't run into Topuria again or Volkanovski, or you can't run into Brian Ortega because off his back.
Max Holloway.
Yeah, Max Hall. Like you can't go run into these guys who you're gonna stand with them and just get killed, or even if you hit the mat, you might get submitted. Like even Josh Emmett. Like you go walk into Josh Emmett, he lands a couple of those shots, fight is over. Like you just before you take that next jump, I want you to work on your fucking hands, my boy.
Yeah, definitely. I can definitely agree with that and co-sign on that one. And then, how did you feel about the post fight interview when he had the Bible and everything? That shit was wild.
But so I don't want to laugh at it, but I feel like Max Bisping wanted nothing to do with that shit.
Yeah.
Like he came out there, did the interview, and then when Bryce was like, "All right, can we have our prayer?" He just like walked off on their ass quick as fuck. Like didn't even like he was like just, I'm fucking done here. And he like walked off. Bryce was just like, "Come on, man!" Like he literally was like, you could see the face of Bryce makes that's just like, ah, oh, like I got let down, and I was just like, man, Bisping wanted nothing to do with all this shit. Um, I mean, I do your thing, my guy. Make your prayer. I'm not gonna stop anyone from praying and all that, but you can't be shocked if like a big national thing ain't gonna allow you to pray on the thing. Like even in football, they don't air the prayers before and after games that the teams usually take.
Yeah.
Like all the football players coming to the knee at the 50, like both teams coming together praying. Like Russell Wilson does that almost every game, like post game.
Yeah, so I think Bryce Mitchell reminds me of somebody that's like recently got back into the Bible, had to refound the faith, but they only read the book of Revelations. So they only were talking about like how the world might end type shit. So it's very interesting and intriguing to see the character that Bryce Mitchell's developed it into in real life.
I also feel like he's somebody who just real small town, how he's just like he's now like on the big stage type shit, and he's just like what he's used to normal is not what's normal to the rest of the world. So like
Yeah, yeah,
he might be a normal old person from where he's from.
yeah, yeah. That's real. But on to our main event. Shit was hurtful.
Yeah, hurtful for real, pun intended. This this is Curtis Blades versus Tom Aspinall. Like just the build up into this, like very similar to that, where the build up was high. Like, oh, this isn't a title fight, but we're getting two high level fighters that kind of styles make fights. Like you can't wait to see this one. Just for it to be
Yeah.
just to be ended the way it's ended. Yeah, we got a round out of it. You can judge that round how much you want to judge it, but that's not a 5 round fight, which we were supposed to get. And it sucks. It ends up as a TKO on the stat sheet. But that's the rules. Like people are mad. It's not a no contest, but like that's what happens. Like when people get hurt during. It wasn't like an illegal eye poke that or a kick it to the balls. Anything illegal that makes the fight be stopped due to unfair advantage. But it just what comes with the fight game.
I just look at it like niggas don't really complain when Sean O'Malley says. I mean, y'all niggas be quick to check. We all be quick to check Sean. Even Twitter community notes be quick to check Sean O'Malley when he be screaming he's undefeated, and he says that because he got hurt in his fight against Cheeto. But I look at it the same way. Like it is what it is, man.
But yeah, uh,
He technically broke this
maybe
shit
Gamrot
while
blocked
fighting
that
this
bitch
guy.
with his elbow. Maybe Gamrot put a little oomph into that bitch. Who knows?
Nah, that shit was crazy too. But the way he broke that bitch was crazy. Fucking kicking other dude's elbow, and it just hit perfectly.
And it
That
was
shit probably
quick.
tore his, and he tore his shit. And the thing about it was, it wasn't the elbow that he kicked with. It was the elbow that he planted. It wasn't the knee that he kicked with. It was the knee that he planted, and I think that's the one that tore.
Ooh. I mean, speedy recovery because he is a killer. And there's a little side note, like just looking forward, like I don't think after what Darius did the Gamrot, I don't think he's gonna be a title contender because he just can't fight on his feet. But then for Steve, I just have to we have to pay attention to like because he throws a lot. He was a high volume kick person. Like he throws a lot of kicks. And now after this injury, when he comes back, are we gonna see like is he gonna change the way he fights? Is he gonna throw less kicks? Is it gonna be a mental thing? There's just something I think we should pay attention to when he comes back.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it isn't even like you don't got the power there anymore. It's just like mentally there's a blockage that like you just don't want to throw that kick again the same way because you're just mentally just afraid that the same shit's gonna happen.
Yeah, I can see that happening.
So like, and he's just someone who throws a lot of volume on his feet. So like, it isn't like he didn't throw a lot of kicks. Like, no, this man, the feet were just like his hands. Like, home, he was gonna throw them all. So like, it's just something I'm gonna pay attention because like Darren Till coming back from injury back in the heyday, different fighter completely, not the same guy.
That's real. But that
But
was that card, man.
yeah, I would say it sucks that like because I was really hoping to look here and just be like, even we're wrong, like Gamrot looked great. Like sit here and be like, oh, this person's gonna potentially fight for the belt again. Like Gamrot might go fight for the belt, but Zeev might get not the belt off of this fight, but like whoever won this fight is gonna be turn their big loss right around and go jump back up into the rankings. Like this fight has left you with an empty, like no taste in your mouth. Like you're sitting there, like Gamrot is still in the same place he was because no one's gonna respect this win, and Fiziev is same place he was minus like a whole year recovery now.
Facts.
So I feel like no one benefited, the fighters or us, from this main event right here, which kind of blows. But that was UFC Fight Night. We dropped our recap of the all the fights that made some noise for us to talk about. It was a good card altogether. Outside of the main event ending the way it ended, top to bottom, a lot of finishes. It was a great fight night experience at the Apex. Go down, like and subscribe. Comment your thoughts on the fight night card altogether, and your thoughts on the main event and what happened, and or Bryce Mitchell and the whole. He brought the Bible into the fucking cage. Never been done before. UFC history was made this weekend.
Nah, that shit was wild. And he raised that bitch all the way to the top. But we gotta respect it.
He got a nice
Yeah,
little,
yeah. We gotta respect it though. Do you BM?
Do your thing, my guy. But as always, we gotta get the fuck up out of here. We appreciate everyone watching. Stay tuned for the boxing Canelo versus Charlo, and tune in if you're just one of our boxing UFC fans. Tune into the NFL stuff. That's our bread and butter, baby. This is Paul Pick'em Win'em Concha, joined as always with Kevin, street fight enthusiast Savoy, and this has been another episode of Totally Blitz podcast. Yo, bitch.